In this video, what we're going to look at is kerning at larger levels. We also will look at kerning for as far as paragraphs. So let's just take a look at kerning and what that is and how to change it inside of this. So right now, kerning is really important for design, not only the technical part of how to do it in InDesign, which is important, but it's like we need to know how to do some of this stuff aesthetically. So the idea that the T and the R needs to move underneath the T, like what's going on the left. The idea with this tutorial is we're going to match what's over on the left by eye, so we can really get a feel for kerning and how that goes. And again, like I said in the other video when we were looking at kerning, we're just going to set our preferences. We're going to go to advanced type, units and increments, and change this to 1 instead of 20. And I'm just going to select inside of here. Now, I don't need to select a whole line or anything. I can just click in between these, and I'm going to use Option left arrow. Now, you can see that moves it really small. I'm going to go Option Command to jump this a little bit larger. And we're going to get it underneath it, right? We don't want those serifs to necessarily touch, but we just want to give some space that's there. And we're going to move the A in a little bit. Let's move the V in. Right, just getting to a nicer level of kerning, especially when our letters get bigger. We notice this a lot more, so we're going to have to go in there a little bit more. That's looking pretty good. Now in here, there's not so much that needs to happen between the C and the L, but the U and the B, I feel like we just need to move those in a little bit more, and we'll move this one in a little bit. And then we're looking at the word trust, and man, if that's the way that's set, which it is, that doesn't seem right. So let's just move that R underneath that T, right? And we can really kind of move this in because we're not worried about the serifs necessarily in this one, right? Because there are no serifs, and we're just going to move those other ones in, and that's the way we do that. You could also go for the kerning. So I'm using Option left and right arrow, Option and Command left and right arrow. You could also go into your character palette, and we're going to go in between here, and we're looking at, here is when it's in between letters, right? So in InDesign in the character palette, this first one here is kerning in between letters. This was if I was going to do the whole entire line, which is what we were looking at what we look at when we do paragraph editing. So when we're doing in these larger spaces, we're going to make sure we're using this first one here. It has a V/A that's there. So this is looking at kerning when you're looking at these bigger single letters, spacing in between. Instead of doing lines, we're just doing in between each individual letter.